Once upon a time there was a king in India. Lived, he considered himself very beautiful, and he was very proud of himself. He used to spend his time looking at himself in the mirror for hours, and always thought that there is no king like him anywhere in the whole world. He used to get the most beautiful clothes and the best jewelry made for himself and wear them himself. He was very happy to see in the mirror. All the subjects of that king were upset with him. Because instead of listening to the problems of the people, he used to ask the people how they were looking and used to come to the court every day with more than one new hairstyle. Because of which his ears were completely covered by his hair and jewelry, and the talk of the people could not reach him. This king had a flaw that was known only to the king's royal barber. That was that the king's ears were exactly like the ears of a donkey, and because of this he kept hiding his ears by making different hairstyles. Was the name of the royal barber Mangu? Was. Mangu lived with his family in a small hut on the edge of the forest. His wife also lived with him, whose name was Ganga. Mangu was always afraid that if he told this to anyone that the king's ears were just like the ears of a donkey, so the king will get him killed, and if he is removed from the post of barber, he will not be able to take care of his family. Since Mangu was not allowed to see anyone except the king or even cut his hair, he lived quietly with his wife in their small hut in the woods on the edge of the village after the king's hair was cut. Mangu, fearing that this word might come out of his mouth, the king's ears are like a donkey's. He himself did not meet anyone. Even hiding this fact, he could neither sleep properly nor eat food. He was leading a very sad life. Seeing his condition once his wife Ganga said, "What happened to you after all? Since you became a royal barber, neither do you eat properly nor drink nor go anywhere, spend most of the time looking at the river flowing near our house before when you became royal. If there were no barbers, we would have been much happier. At least we could meet people and spend our time happily." The barber did not say anything to his wife. He ran to the river bank and sat there silently watching the water. Ganga became very upset and she too followed Mangu. Were Ganges, quote, "I am your wife. What is the problem? Tell me once. I will not tell anyone, believe me." Mangu said, "Ganga, you know that our Maharaj has ears like a donkey, but if I tell this to anyone, then Maharaj will give me the death penalty. I do not understand whether I should say this in front of anyone. That's why I don't meet anyone, but because of this I am very sad because I miss my friends a lot. I am losing everyone one by one." And Mangu started crying holding Ganga. Tamarind tree. Absorbing everything Mangu had said, Mangu's wife promised not to tell anyone, but soon she became too restless to tell anyone. So one day she went to the tamarind trees, and there quietly slowly hugging the trees said that you know the king's ears are like a donkey's, and in this way this thing trees. After telling this, her mind became calm, and she returned to her home. In a few days the royal festival came, and the drummers took their drums and stood around the palace and started playing the drums loudly. But what happened to the drums? Only one voice started coming from inside, "The king's ears are donkeys? Is like a donkey because of the king, like a donkey because of the king." The king was very scared to hear this and immediately called the royal barber, Mangu, told the whole thing to the king and said, that he did not say this to anyone except the tamarind trees. King Drum called the musicians and asked them. The king came to know the whole truth, absorbed it inside itself, and when it was made into a drum, the sound started coming out from the sticks of the drum. Before that barber, or the drummers, the minister of state said, "It does not matter how the king has ears if the king loves the subjects and removes all their troubles." King understood the whole thing, and after that he became the best king in the world, and his subjects never suffered again, and no one even remembered that donkeys because of the king. Is like, we should do our work with heart and well, then only we will be able to become a good person in the eyes of people, no matter how many flaws we have.